Hey guys, this is Adam from Genetic Sessions with another how-to video. Today we're going to be looking at pulling off a baby freeze. Now again, for those of you guys that come regularly to sessions, hopefully you all know how to do a baby freeze. If you don't, you need to get practicing because baby freezes are probably the most fundamental basic level of hitting a freeze, which is an important part of breaking. You've got to be able to hit a freeze, otherwise you're not a complete breaker. As simple as that. So one of the most common things that people need to make sure they get right is weight distribution on hands. So we're going to look at that in a minute, but just to get used to the action of what you're doing with a baby freeze, right, I'll show you. So a baby freeze looks like this. That's the one that I use most often. There are different variations of what you can do with your legs. But in order to get into that position, the very first thing you've got to do is figure out which arm you're strongest on. So for me, it's my right. I can freeze on my left, I am stronger on my right, and it's a lot neater. And you want to get used to the idea of having that elbow in your stomach. Now, ideally, you want to get your elbow about as close to your belly button as you possibly can. It's a very strange feeling at first, and initially when you're just doing it off the ground, it'll just feel really weird. But once you start putting weight on it, you'll notice that actually having that elbow more central makes a big difference. If you have it too far over to the side, you're likely to slip off to the side. You won't be able to hold weight on it. So the next thing you want to do once you've got used to that idea of having your elbow in your stomach is start figuring out putting weight on it. When you put your hand on the floor, the most important thing you can do is to make sure that from wrist to elbow, your arm goes straight up. I see a lot of people making the mistake of trying to go into a baby freeze with either their arms over too far towards the hand or not far enough towards it, or even actually, if you look at it from the side, either tilting down or tilting up away. Now that'll put a lot of strain on your wrist, and what it will mean is that you can't support yourself well, because what you want ideally, once that elbow's in your stomach and that hand's on the floor, that is what is keeping you off the floor. So if we start off with that arm somewhere in the middle, that hand out to the side, I'm going to lower myself onto that arm and it's going to go right in my stomach. So as you can see, that's straight down. It's not leaning forwards, it's not leaning backwards. From where I'm looking, it's not leaning side to side either. Now I've got both feet on the floor at the moment. The next thing you want to do, just to get used to the idea of holding a freeze, is to take one of those feet off the floor. Now that's your basic floor freeze. It's a very simple start. Doesn't look that impressive, but you can hold it for absolutely ages if you need to. The next thing you want to do once you've got used to holding that kind of position and got used to having your arm in this position is to start heading into baby freeze. Now one of the most easy ways of doing that is to keep one foot on the floor, and whichever arm you've got out to the side, you're going to rest the same knee on that arm. So as you can see, that's resting on my elbow. That means that when I do that and pull my back leg up, I'm already supported. Once you've got used to doing that, you've really just opened up a whole world of what you can do with freezes. There are loads of different things you can do. One thing to be aware of is if you fall out of that freeze, it probably means that your centre of gravity is still too far towards your legs. So the best way of doing that is while you're in that position, if you're trying to go into it and finding that you're drooping down, what you want to do is lift the weight of your head a little bit and just put your head further out. It'll tip you over towards your head and you'll find that you can balance a lot more easily. Once you've got used to doing that with your basic shape of legs, then it's entirely up to you what you do with your legs from there on. You can vary it, you can do stacking, which is where you shift from one position to another, to another, to another. So stacking could look a little bit, well, stacking in baby freeze would look a little bit like this. So you go baby, reverse baby, flag freeze, back down. Now the important thing with a freeze is that when you go into the actual position, you hold the position. You don't want to be wobbling all over the place, because then it's not a freeze, you're just trying to hold the position. You want to completely freeze solid, so tense your core, tense your legs, make sure that you're stable. Hopefully, once you've got used to doing that, you're then going to be able to mess around and have a lot more fun but that is the basics of how to get into a baby freeze. Hope that helped. Stay safe, guys. Make sure you're warming your wrist up and down. Make sure that if you are feeling like it's straining your wrist a lot, you're having a breather and you're doing a lot of stretching. Make sure that your muscles are okay. Keep it warmed up. But have fun. Hopefully we'll see you soon.